Oh, um,
Yes.
well, I just hit the button to stream. I mean, obviously, we can get it started at our own pace. There's no rush. We have multiple hours to go, and we got some chatting to do.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
Whew, yeah. Like I said, I napped. I didn't say that, but I napped. So I'm pretty good to go.
I'm operating off of, I'm just going to do caffeine. I'm going to do a 2 hour nap, set 17 alarms, watch the match, go back to take another nap, then go to work.
You're brave. Strong individual. Beautiful, strong individual. If you get tired, take a hot shot. DT3 said in the comments.
Oh my God. I don't think I'm ready for all of that. Oh no. Oh no.
uh, that's hilarious. Um, I went through that whole thing where I was like, I'm interested. But then when I saw some people take it and they're like, yeah, it just kind of reminds me of these like big flavors that they like in other things. And it's like maybe it's not too bad, but also it's one of those things. It's an experience that you can't unlearn. If it's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I'm not ready
so
for that. Not ready
yeah,
for that at all. No, no
maybe
sir.
maybe after the World Cup and the supply isn't depleted. Like I don't want to take away from the women, right? I don't want to be
I mean,
selfish. That's us being
like
thoughtful.
I the people that I've seen do that challenge, like God bless them because that none of that looked pleasant. So, yeah, no, just no.
Mm-mm.
That's gonna be a no for me, Doc.
Well, I mean, so normally I'm the one who like leads this, but I'm back here. You're the captain, Captain O'Captain.
Oh snap! All right. Well, I mean, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary individuals, let's go ahead and get into it. This is all in with
Hey,
Tom Bomb and Crunk Chocolate. Um, we are your Shades of Blue um, hosts. You normally see us talking about Man City, but today you are going to hear us, feel us, vibe with us about the most exciting tournament of the year, the 2023 Women's World Cup. And right now it is, what time is it in New Zealand? It's about, so it's, oh, I don't know, like 5 o'clock there, 6 o'clock, something like that, or close to match time. So I believe that they're having opening ceremonies for the match. I know that people are excited for this. I'm excited for this. This is something that we talked about for at least 6 months. So I'm excited to bring this to you guys. I cannot wait to get into this. Crunk,
hey,
how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I took a 3 hour nap and then you know me and my cold brew, so mason jar full of cold brew. I chugged all that and I waited until the second half of the MLS All Star match versus Arsenal to start drinking, and then I started with a boozy fruit smoothie. So I took in some antioxidants, got some
Look at you.
citrus, so
Look
I
at
pushed
you.
away the scurvy. It was nice, and got a little boozed up, and I already drank my first beer. I might, when you're just chatting, I might disappear and run and grab 2 beers. I might just need to double stack them tangs.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
It
But
is
I'm
what
good.
it
I'm
is.
just happy to be here. I'm just excited to talk women's football. I will try to keep my teams light and fun because I will be learning a lot about the national side. I dove into our baby blue baddies, but from a national team perspective, there's still plenty for me to learn. So I'm very much looking forward to watching all these matches.
I am too, and one of the things that is so exciting about all of these matches is like especially for a lot of our listener base. I know that they're based in the United States. We have some fans in the UK. We do have some friends in Australia down under. Um, but we don't. We Maybe our friends in Australia get to see this more, but we don't get to see a lot of Asian Asian teams. We don't get to see, and we don't get to see a lot of African teams. So I think that that's what's going to be so exciting about these particular matches is like the, and I think that those are some of the teams that are going to surprise some people in this tournament, because I really do think that this tournament is more wide open than people are giving it credit for, and there are a lot of very strong contenders for this tournament. So I am excited to talk about it. Should we? What What are we going to dive into first, Crunk? What should we dive into? Do we,
Uh, oh, there's choices. What are the choices?
oh, I mean, we can talk groups. We can
Yes,
talk
let's do.
We can talk faction.
Oh, let's start with the fashion. Actually, let's start with the team, and then from them, then maybe let's take a look at their fashion. So we do a we let's intermix it.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
Hey,
Let's go. Let's
I'm smart
go.
sometimes.
All right. All right. So we're gonna start in Group A, and that is the group that is about to kick off here in just a few hours. That is a group consisting of New Zealand, host nation, Norway, the Philippines, and Switzerland. So we're going to start with our host nation here. Switzerland makes their sixth appearance in the Women's World Cup. They have never advanced past the group stage, and they are currently 26th in the FIFA rankings. Their 2023 form has not been great. They are 1-7-1. They have losses to the U.S. in January. They got their teeth kicked in by Portugal in February. They did lose to Argentina and Nigeria in April, and then they beat Vietnam and a close loss to Italy in these tune-ups. This I don't know. This team doesn't have good vibes to me. And the reason that I say that is like there were some interviews that Ali Riley, who is now the captain of the Football Ferns, did recently, where there was just you could just tell that there was a lot of pressure on her, like being the captain of someone who's on a host nation squad,
Yeah.
um, and especially for a team that like has not had the results that you would want to see, and maybe a cycle or two away from like real like true contention.
Mhm.
Um, like this is we'll talk about the other host nation in a moment when we get to the next group. But it's interesting to see the two sides, how they're dealing with the pressure of being a host nation, and I don't think New Zealand is necessarily their infrastructure. It seems like infrastructure wise, through the Fed, they're getting the support that they, or excuse me, through the nation, they're getting the support that they need. I know that Ali Riley also called out nations with the Fed, or issues with the Fed, and I think to me the most interesting thing with this particular squad actually happened in January when Abby Erceg retired, and she had led the nation with 146 caps. She's a very good defender, but she's still playing at the NWSL level. Like, so she's still playing for Racing Louisville right now, and she cited issues with the Fed when she retired in January. And I think a recurring theme that you're going to hear in a lot of these previews is that these federations are very unserious, and I think that we've always known that these federations are very unserious, but the amount of unseriousness that is there when it comes to women's football is kind of ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
oh,
We flip sides. Hey.
oh,
Uh, um, Rugby is their real sport. They focus on that. They love that. So that's another thing on top of it of just being women's sports, and they prefer rugby on top of it. it's tough specifically for that in the host nation. And like you said, the I guess the difference over in Australia and the energy that is coming from them and they are receiving seems to be
Yes.
completely different. But we will get there.
Yes.
All I really else other have to say about New Zealand is nice gowns. They're these kids are really nice. I am a big fan of them.
They did a really I really do enjoy their kits. I felt like um, Nike did a really good job for them. Um, Also, Nike, thank you for finally making. Or I don't know if this was Nike, I'm not sure, but like it took too long for people to be able to buy like players kits with their name
Mm,
on the back. Like
yeah.
it, like everybody should have been able to buy a Marta kit if they wanted to buy a Marta kit, but we'll get into that later. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to Norway. This is their ninth appearance as they have appeared in all nine Women's World Cups. They were champions in 1995. Um, their current FIFA ranking is 12th. They come into 2023 with one win, two draws, and two losses. This team looks so great on paper when
Mm,
you look at the attacking talent that it has. Like when you think about, excuse me, Caroline Graham Hansen, who just won the UEFA Women's Champions League trophy with Barcelona, Guro Reiten with excuse me, with Chelsea, and then with Ada Hedeberg from Lyon. This team should score a lot, but one of the things that, like, I believe that they had a 3-3 draw to Sweden earlier this year in April. They still do not defend very well, even though Higuaise was brought in to kind of redeem themselves from the 2022 Euros when England put 8 on them. I'm going to repeat that. England put 8 on
mm,
Norway. And I mean, it became very obvious, especially to us as Man City fans watching the match, that Julie Blackstad was the mark because Julie Blackstad was playing left back. And we know that Julie Blackstad does not play left back, and that is not what she
mm.
needs to do. But apparently, Norway did not know that during that tournament. So it's good that that is no longer the case with them. But this is my favorite to come out of this group. I think that they will win the group.
Mm.
I don't trust them past the knockouts though, or in the knockouts, excuse me, because y- we've hyped up all of this, attacking talent that they have, and they can
Uh-huh.
score, but they can score goals, rather free. Like the way that they play is rather free, um, or if they can play freely, those three players that I just mentioned. But I'm not convinced that they can really like hold a good defensive shape. Just based off of the results like that they've gotten, it's this year it hasn't been great.
Yeah,
Um,
I do see that they have only in their last five, they have one win. And other than that, it's a 2-0 loss to Denmark, a draw to France, a 4-2 loss to Spain, and a 3-3 draw with Sweden.
yeah,
They
they're
beat Uruguay by one.
yeah, that's their. If Uruguay is their, then that was their tune-up match before they went down under, and Uruguay is not in this tournament. So
Mm.
it's not looking good for Like they have the talent to obviously, like, I would think, to be better than all of the teams in this group, and win against them. But I'm not gonna trust them past uh, past the group stage. So the next country in this particular group, we got the Philippines. They are debutants to the World Cup, which is all we love. Love a first-time nation in the World Cup.
Yes.
It's very exciting. They are ranked 46th in the world. They have played a lot of matches. in 2023. They are 5-4 in those matches. They in February competed in the Pinatar Cup. They are also were attempted to qualify for the Olympics, and they participated in the Southeast Asian Games as well. Really, this excuse me, this particular team, like I think that this is the team that's just excited to be there. You hope
Mhm.
that they are able to like at least score one goal so that their fans can celebrate and say that they saw their nation score a goal at the World Cup. But this team that this was their first. They had a really good 2022. The way the AFC does every confederation has different World Cup qualifiers or things that qualify you for the World Cup. Excuse me. They were able to qualify without going into the Asian Football Confederation's playoff, and then into the Intercontinental Tournament, and they actually won a regional trophy at the AFF Women's Championships in 2022. So they they've had good they've been in good form, but like they haven't necessarily been in good form from teams outside of the AFC. So it's going to be difficult for them just seeing different styles of play. I don't, and the talent level that's in this group, I don't particularly see them advancing. This is probably the bottom team of the group to me.
Yeah, and what I have for them is they're a surprisingly young team for it being their first time in. The average age is 24.9, and what raises that age is they have only two players over 30. One's 30 and the other's 34. But for the most part, they have like a couple of 29s and 28s, but I saw a lot of like 18, 19, 21, 23-year olds. So I assume just a lot of energy. They're going to try to hopefully run you off the pitch if they do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, you would think that they might be able to, just because they do have those younger legs, but that it's a lot of this going to be who can control
Mhm.
the pace, and some of these teams are not in this group that you don't want to get into track meets with. So we'll go to our last team in the group, which is Switzerland. Switzerland is making their second appearance in the Women's World Cup. Switzerland is winless in 2023.
Ooh.
They do, yeah, not really looking great for them. They do have some pretty like solid players. I think that their midfield is really good with Kumbasau, Anna Marie Cernagojevic, as well as Ramona Bachmann. I feel like if they can control the midfield in in the group matches, they have a pretty good chance to advance. I actually do have them as the second place team in this particular group, so I have Norway and Switzerland advancing. I really do think that I don't think that Philippines is going to be ready for the physicality of any of the three of these teams. And I think that New Zealand got a tough draw having to play Norway first. Like maybe if they played the Philippines first, they could feel better about themselves. So then they could go into those matches against Switzerland and Norway with a little bit more confidence. But I don't see them being able to overcome like losing to. I have them losing to Norway right away in this first match. So I don't see them recovering from that. And yeah, I got the two UEFA teams coming out of this group.
I was trying to figure out like the odds of when you lose the first match in the World Cup because I mean it's not great. A team that loses the first game has a 91% chance of being eliminated at the end of it. So it's not great.
Yeah, yeah,
You can
no, it's
see
not
that.
looking good.
Ugh, no, and that's tough. I was watching just a pre-match show where they were just breaking down all the teams and the players, and it was getting me real hype. It was nice. I'm very much
Good,
looking forward to
good.
this. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Group B, which is, um, I think every World Cup, there like we've decided that we're just gonna call some group of the group of death.
Hmm.
Um, it's amazing how this tournament actually has two groups of death,
Yeah.
and we will get to the second one because we have stumbled upon our first one with Group B. In Group B, we have Australia, fellow host nation to New Zealand, Canada, Ireland, and Nigeria. Um, so we're going to start off with host nation Australia. Australia is making their eighth appearance in the Women's World Cup. They have appeared in every tournament since 1995. Their best finish is into the quarterfinals, and they are currently ranked number 10 in FIFA's rankings. They are 5-1 in 2023. They have wins against France, against Spain, and against England at Wembley. So they have some pretty significant wins under their belt. Um, th- I think that this team is really interesting in that because Tony Gustafsson is kind of rolling the dice, assuming that he is going to be able to make it out of the group stage. Um, so he brought in a lot of players that may not be fit to play right away.
Hmm.
Top of mind is Kaya Simon of Tottenham. She had an ACL injury, I believe in September or October, so it was relatively early in the WSL season. Um, and she has not played a competitive match since she got injured, but he did call her into the squad, and he is on record saying that he's not thinking about having Kaya for necessarily these first three games. He's thinking about having Kaya for the ne- um, the group, or
Knockout.
excuse me, the knockout stages. Thank
Yep.
you.
Gotcha.
Um, he also brought in Alana Kennedy, who we as Man City fans know. Um, she had a calf injury
Yes.
that she might have come back too early from. So we're not really sure. He did call in Mary Fowler, who also had was dealing with back issues towards the end of the season, which the WSL season, which is why we at Manchester City didn't see her. But I know that she did score the goal against France when she came in off the bench. So it does look like she does have a role in the squad. So that's exciting for us as Man City fans. But it is
And
also exciting
oh,
to
I
see
was
her
gonna
there
say
as well.
about Mary Fowler. She's getting a lot of she's doing a lot of shoots and a lot from basically her. She was so not invisible, but just not really seen. Wasn't doing many shoots. Wasn't
Hmm.
very prevalent. She kind of kept to herself during this the city season. So it's kind of crazy because I follow her on Instagram, just seeing she's done multiple photo shoots, a couple things with Nike. She's this you're really seeing the person that Mary is. And I very
Yes.
much am enjoying this. And it's you, I can't wait to really see her. Hopefully this helps her kind of relax. And I wish we
Hmm.
wouldn't have lost Haley because this could be a really good bonding time for a couple of players. And
Yes. Yes. Set
but
up those relationships. I know. I
I
know.
know.
Um, but I think that brings me into my next point about Australia is that you can really see that they're in juxtaposition to New Zealand, they truly are leaning into the pressure of this
Hmm.
World Cup, and
Yeah.
they have expectations of winning, and they have expectations of winning as a squad. There's so many in the last few international tournaments, especially if you look at their 2019 um, tournament, they were so dependent on Sam Kerr, like that was their focal point. Is like, if Sam Kerr does not have a good match, we are not going to win this match.
Mm.
I think that the way that Tony Gustafsson has like set up his tactics, and like in the Olympics found something that worked, and then like decided that he was going to stick to that, and then having the international windows that they have had, and then having the success that they've had in 2023. I really do think that this team is in a in a really good position. But this is also the group of death, because the next team in this group is Canada. Yes, that's Canada, your reigning Olympic champions. Let's not forget that.
Let's not.
Canada has qualified for every Women's World Cup since 1991. Their best finish was fourth place. They are currently ranked seventh in the world. They are 1-3 with win over Brazil, losses to the U.S. and Japan, and that was in the She Believes Cup in February, and then they recently lost to France. Unfortunately, a lot of what the noise is around Canada is around Canada and their federation, and the players saying, "Where is the money?" I believe that there was some reporting recently that Soccer Canada was considering filing bankruptcy. Like, there's a lot of good reporting out there about Soccer Canada's relationship with how they basically decided to fund their program. I would encourage everyone to go read it. It's a lot. It's a lot.
No.
But the player, I believe that there was support staff that was cut prior to them going to the world, like in a few international windows. It's very, very sad to see. I would there's no easy way to transition to the nice, fun stuff that they do on the pitch, but they also don't necessarily play the most appealing football to look at. They are just their defense is going to smother you. Like, Khadijah Buchanan and Vanessa Gilles might be the best center back pairing in the world. That's just. I am open to other suggestions. That's just one that readily comes to mind for me. And then so they can erase your best two attackers. Ashley Lawrence, who wears the 10 for them as a left back. That's how cold Ashley Lawrence is. She wears the 10 as a left back. But she also has a lot of freedom to get up and down. But she is also a very, very good defender. However, like, one of the interesting things is with Desiree Scott out, their defensive midfielder, I believe they're bringing like 11 attacking players, which is not necessarily like a team that is defensive minded. You don't necessarily think that they're going to do that, but maybe Bev Priestman has something up her sleeve and they're going to do something wild and crazy, and decide to play some free-flowing attacking football because they have the defenders behind them to defend with it. So who knows? That's just an interesting move based off of how the team plays and the players that were called in.
The thing on Twitter tonight was Fox Sports released the nicknames for all the teams in Canada.
Yeah.
It was just like no nickname, no. It was NON, no original nickname or something like that. That's kind of a pretty solid name. I just call them Non. It sounds like some kind of secret organization. But
I like that. They should adopt that. I like that.
I'm sure someone calls them something somewhere, and maybe a beautiful moment will happen, and an announcer on not Fox or wherever, but someone somewhere will probably say something beautiful in a different language, and it will translate to a fantastic nickname for them. This is hopefully their chance.
I like that. I like the thought of a French announcer calling the game with Jordan Heidema scoring a wonder goal, and or maybe Christine Sinclair, since she is the all-time international goal scoring leader, scoring a wonder goal, and they say something, you know, beautiful and poetic in French, and it's translated, and or maybe it's just their it's a French nickname, and like because they speak French and English up there. I don't know.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed for the
Yes,
positive.
exactly.
For the positive.
Yes, yes.
You keep it
Um,
going. I'm gonna run and grab my
okay,
beers. Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna go to the 13 men's group, which is Ireland. Ireland are debutantes to this tournament. They're currently ranked 22nd in the world. They Ireland is 1-3-1 and a canceled match. I know that there was a lot of reporting about Vera Pauw's what Vera Pauw's comments, Vera Pauw being the manager of Ireland, and her comments about the game against the warm-up game that they had against Colombia and it being too physical. Um, I will just say that for the record, I watched both matches that Ireland played against the U.S. and I've seen Katie McCabe play, and I know that she is a very physical player. So I am wondering how physical this match actually is. I don't believe that there's actually film of this out there, unfortunately. Um, but it's I know that there was a challenge that was so hard on Denise O'Sullivan that she did end up going to the hospital. She is good to play in this match,
No,
or
I,
excuse
I
me, in the
thought her
tournament.
legs were broken.
No, she's good.
Oh, her
She's gonna
ankles
play.
weren't broken? I don't know.
No,
It just
her hand.
sounded like everybody was so upset that it was
Oh
that
my gosh.
it might have
It.
ruined her career.
Oh God. Oh
You
God.
should have
I
known
don't.
I was going to bring that up.
I mean, that was just it
She
very
could
very
have
upsetting.
killed her.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And I think that there
DG3
already
said,
is a lot of.
"Feared for our bodies." That was that was how they phrased it. Feared for our bodies.
Oh Lord, feared for our bodies. Oh God, no. Mm-mm. I think the other thing is like because Vera Pauw said this, like I'm definitely tanking it with like one of those huge thing, like a Lot's wife size pillar of salt. Because that yeah, you got if you know
I knew.
those that went to vacation Bible school know. uh, So Vera Pauw was named in the Yates report on
Oh,
abuse in the NWSL. She was called out as someone who was emotionally and verbally abusive towards players, particularly about their weight. Um, Also named uh, in the Yates report is Sinead Fairley. Sinead Fairley was Sinead Fairley is a survivor of abuse at the hands of Paul Riley, former Portland Thorns coach. Um, and she actually signed with Gotham FC just this spring, and she has been balling out, and she has been called up to the national team. And it's I'm not sure that anybody has necessarily like I'm not sure that Sinead would necessarily be in a position to like comment on like I know that this is not your abuser, but this person was named in a report that, you know, did highlight some of the things that your abuser did to you. Like, does that make you feel uncomfortable? And I think that this is something that, unfortunately, we have to talk about in women's footy because, like, this, you know, terrible things are happening. I think that there was a report last month about, and I think that it's happening at all levels of footy, like including the youth levels. And that was something that the Yates report did state, that we need to be looking into youth levels. I think there was a youth coach in Tennessee that left his
Yeah,
phone at a
snowball.
restaurant, and he basically like was detailing his abuse of his players, via picture. And that's terrible. Something we obviously need to get out of the sport as a whole. But that means that we have to hold power structures accountable, and that's another story for another day. We're gonna
Yes.
focus on the
It's
footy.
a day for celebration.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh God. And now we got to talk about the last team, who's also has terrible non-footy shit going on. But it's Nigeria, who is qualified for every World Cup that has existed. Their best finish is the quarterfinals in 1999. They are currently ranked 40th in the world. They have in 2023. They are 3-2 with wins over Costa Rica, Haiti, and New Zealand, and losses to Mexico and Colombia. This team might have the most fearsome attack, I should say, of any of any nation in this tournament. Asisat Ashuela of Barcelona, Ifeanyi Manu of Gotham FC, Uchenna Kanu of Racing Louisville, and Michelle Alozie, excuse me, who's been the focal point for Houston Dash's attack all season. That's your front four, and that's gonna leave back lines and goalkeepers kind of looking stuck. Like they're gonna kind of freak out a little bit at them. They um, uh, they're now they might not defend as well as some other teams, but like they're definitely going to try and score goals on you. And Randy Waldrum, their coach, definitely has them set up to do that. Um, Unfortunately, this country is also fighting with its federation. Randy Waldrum did an interview about how he and the rest of the team basically have not been paid since 2021, or paid bonuses since 2021 that they have earned. They Nigerian Football Federation came out strongly the next day against that, saying that this is not true. I know that there was a goalkeeper backup goalkeeper that spoke out and said, like, I've been doing this a long time, and like this is the most disarray I've ever seen the program in. She was suspended from the program. She had to write an apology letter to be let back into the program. And she's going to the World Cup, but at the expense of one of Randy Waldrum's assistant coaches, because basically the federation told him, you can either bring this, you can, excuse me, bring this goalkeeper and not bring this coach, or you can bring this coach with this goalkeeper that you've never seen. And so he was like, I'm going to pick the goalkeeper that I've seen because I might need a backup goalkeeper. So, Nigeria, um, Nigerian Football Federation, excuse me, on some fuck shit. But the players, like on the team, I'm so excited to watch them play. This again, I've labeled this group of death one. Um, who like I think any team in this group really could advance. Um, However, I do think that Canada's defense is strong enough to get them through, and I think I can't really vote against Australia
Yeah.
advancing as a host nation. even though I am wearing a Nigeria kit, and I'm sure that somewhere someone is like absolutely flaming me for that. I'm so sorry, Super Falcon fans. I probably deserve it, but I don't see them advancing. Um, so we're gonna move on to Group C, which is very interesting group. We have Costa Rica, Japan, Spain, and Zambia. Let's start with Costa Rica. This is the second time that they've been into the Women's World Cup. They were in the groups, got to the group stage last time. They are ranked 36th in the world. Um, they are 1-6-2 in 2023. Emilio Valverde, their coach, decided that they were not going to call in Shirley Cruz. And to give people some perspective, Shirley Cruz to Costa Rica is the same as Christine Sinclair to Canada. Like she is their goat. Like she's their go-to. Emilio Valverde decided to call in some younger players. Rocky Rodriguez is going to be their captain now. I don't. They have not been in good form all year. I don't like. It kind of seems that the team is kind of in flux. They might be just kind of throwing some stuff at the wall, see what works. But I don't necessarily see this team advancing. It would kind of take a miracle for that to happen to me.
And from what I'm seeing, for between November 30th, 2021 and July 14th, 2022, they went undefeated. And a couple of those wins were like 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. So the potential was there. I don't know what happened, but that's kind of unfortunate to hear for someone who, yeah, went a whole year basically from November to
Yeah,
July without losing. That's
without a loss. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's kind
Hmm.
of. Moving on to Japan, they have
Yay.
made all 9 Women's World Cups. They were the 2011 champions on penalty kicks. I do remember that match. They are 3-3 in the sheep, or excuse me, 3-3 in 2023. They came in second in the She Believes Cup. They only won one match, and that was against Canada. But they gave the U.S. and Brazil fits. They play with 3 at the back, and the way that they rotate defensively catches like not only does it um, when they're in possession, it catches attackers out off guard when they're pressing, but also even when the attackers are have the ball and they're dribbling up the field, they sometimes where players are rotating from are places that they're not expecting, and they lose the ball.
Mm.
Um, the Because they really did give like all 3 teams in the She Believes Cup a fit. Like I it was right that they won second because just because they the way that they played made teams uncomfortable, and you could tell that. Um, and I think that that's probably going to be their key to victory in this particular group if they are to advance. Also, for us as Man City fans, it will be interesting to see Yui Hasegawa play more as we love Yui. Love, love, love. I think I don't want to. I know that Yui Hasegawa is probably like a top 10 defensive midfielder in the world, and that's not even her for real position. Like she plays the 8 for Japan, and it'll be so interesting to see them play the 8 or her play the 8. Just like it's interesting to see like the her getting into the box and in the even tracking back to defend, and I believe that she takes most of their set pieces as well. It's like, and she's got a few shots in her locker, and so like
Mm.
it'll be, yeah. she's got a few things in her locker. So um,
She
also
scored. I was gonna say she scored. I want to say their lead up match before the Women's World Cup,
yes.
and the angle she bursted. Like you really got to see a lot of her like athleticism. It was a killer shot because the
Hmm.
keeper was closing in the space, and she just slotted in and just
Yes.
ran off. And even with all of the ads that she's doing and uh,
Hmm.
their suit that they were wearing, it's so funny seeing her in this because she's so unassuming. Even in her latest ad that she did for the campaign, they have her like working out in the gym, and she just kind of gets up and then dribbles a little bit. She very much, and we joke that she's tiny Rodri with a ponytail. That she really does give that like Rodri energy, that like
She
studious,
does.
like
Hmm. Hmm.
schoolgirl type of
Hmm.
energy that she's just
Hmm.
like
Yep.
minding her business, doesn't want any of the trouble, and I just love her so
Right.
much.
Hmm. I do too. I do too. She's got a very special place in my heart. Um, I think one of the things that we do have to talk about with Japan is that uh, they did leave off, excuse me, Mana Iwabashi of their who like leads their Japan with international goals at 36,
Mm.
um, and their manager said, want to read the quote directly so I don't butcher it because I was like, what? He said, um, it's about form, fitness, and the state of the team and what we need in certain situations. Now, one of the things that Japan has had trouble with is scoring goals. So I do find it interesting that he did leave off his leading goal scorer. And I'm not sure what situations you wouldn't need her in, but
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not an international manager, so I don't know your life.
Need to take those classes, and you can be doing it soon.
Oh, I mean that's true. And yeah, let me get my my coaching license. Let me get right on that because I know it's so inexpensive. The third team in this group is Spain. Spain, this is their third Women's World Cup. They advanced to the round of 16 in 2019. They are, excuse me, ranked number 6 by FIFA in the world, and they are 7-1 in 2023. Their lone loss came to Australia in Australia, 3-2, and that particular loss was against a bunch of bunch of players that is essentially Spain's B team. And then you're going to ask me, well, Tom, why was Spain playing their B team in January, the year of a World Cup?
Tom, why were Spain playing their B team in January leading up to the World Cup?
It's because I'm glad that you asked, Kirk. It's because 15 players signed their name to a letter stating that they were going to refuse call ups until Jorge Vilda was removed as Spain's manager. I want to note to everyone Jorge Vilda is a Nepo baby of football. His dad is the head of referees for Spain in the like in this for the Spanish Federation. So like basically his daddy got him the job. So let's not forget that. Apparently like there've been reporting about like him being so micromanaging that he would actually like go around and check people's rooms and like make sure that they were actually in bed. Yeah. Yeah. Um so unfortunately, Jorge Vilda is still the manager. Several of those players that were on that list of 15 are back in the squad, including Onyabatye, uh, Atiana Bonmati, um, Alexia Puteas, who technically was injured, so she couldn't refuse a call up. She did is recovering from an ACL injury, but she is back with the squad. I know that there were are reports of her training away from the squad right now. As let's remember, she is coming back from an ACL in um, pretty short fashion, honestly. Um, this excuse me, and this team is probably the most talented team in the group. I have this particular team winning the group. I think when you have the attacking talent that they have, even if Alexei Puteas is not 100%, um, they're still going to be able to score goals, and they want to play the tiki taka football. They want to make beautiful, beautiful quick one touch passes and basically pass the ball into the back of the net. And they're really really good at that. Um, uh, so I do see them running into trouble against teams that have a better attack. I know that their goalkeeper, their first choice goalkeeper, refused their call up, as did one of their center backs. She refused to call up to the World Cup. So that's how dedicated these players are to I don't want this man in charge. So I think we again listen to the players. Um, so I think that they'll definitely advance from the group, but in the knockout stage they'll have some trouble with teams with a better attack. I also think that they will have trouble with the next team in the group. Oh, do you want to talk about Spain?
Sure.
Oh no.
Oh, no, no, I have nothing about Spain. No, no, no,
Okay,
no.
okay. Uh, the next team in the group is Zambia, who are debutants to this tournament. Um,
Hmm.
yes, we love us a debutant. Um, they are ranked 77th in the world by FIFA. They are 5-3-1 in their last, or excuse me, in 2023, including a draw versus Switzerland and a wild win against Germany. They went up 2-0 on Germany pretty quick. Germany scored a goal in early in the second half, equalized in stoppage time. They're thinking all right, we're able to come back out of this, get a result, and all of a sudden, um, they give up they give up the ball off of a long throw in their half, um, and Barbara Banda basically with the last kick of the game, chips the keeper after intercepting the pass and having successful dribbles up the field. It was wonderful to see. Um, this team. This team does not want the ball. They want to counter you to death. They are going but they have the attacking talent to do that, particularly because they have Barbara Branda. Also, this is the uh, WAF Con champions. They won the African Confederation tournament last year. So, and they did that all of that without Barbara Banda, who was banned by CAF over some bullshit.
Hmm.
Look it up. It's
Yeah,
some bullshit.
it is.
Um, yeah. Uh, so this particular group is really interesting to me. I think that Spain advances. I think that there's a chance for Zambia to advance, but I think that they need to be able to put up a bunch of goals against Costa Rica, and at least draw against Japan, um, in order to advance. Um, I don't. I'm gonna go ahead and call Spain and Japan. I know that this is all chalk, but I don't. No. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say Spain and Zambia. I think Zambia is fun. I think um, they bring good vibes to the team.
Mhm.
They play with they're coming into this tournament with a certain amount of confidence that you don't necessarily see from a lot of CAF nations. And they have the results to back it up. On top of that, so I'm really I'm gonna go ahead and lean into this. I'm sorry, Yui. I love you. You are my you're my favorite midfielder at Man City. My favorite midfielder at Man City.
I don't know you. It
But
doesn't
I
sound
can't.
like it. I
So
don't know. It's what Tom's saying, but I don't. I'm not sure if I believe him.
I know. I know. I know. All right. So we're gonna move on to Group D. We have China, Denmark, England, and Haiti. We're going to start off with China.
Hey,
China has been to every World Cup since 1991. They were the runner-up in the 1999 Women's World Cup. Most U.S. fans will be very familiar with that. That is the 99ers. Like China was the team on the losing end of that. They are ranked number 14 in the world. They are 2-2 in 2023. Their lone two wins coming against Russia in tune-ups. This team, we haven't seen a lot of them play because, like, again, like some of those like Asian nations, very hard to get that tape, especially if they're going to play in a nation like Russia. Like, we ain't never gonna see that. um, we ain't never gonna see that. I mean, that being stated, they are the Asian Cup winners, and it's not like that they went through an easy path. They had to beat Korea, Japan, and another team to get to the final, or excuse me, to win that. So like it's not like they didn't play anyone, um, and like got an easy draw. But again, it's just uh, we're not really sure what to expect from them. Um, so it's kind of hard to predict. So you kind of just you would think that a team that and there are four losses and draw. There are two draws were against. I don't believe that there were teams against teams that qualified for the World Cup, and their two losses were. So it's not like they're. It doesn't look like they're playing non-Asian competition very well. So you just kind of. I don't really see it for China just because we haven't seen a lot of them, and so it's kind of hard to predict. And their form is not great.
yeah, and I see that they had an 8-2 defeat by Netherlands in the Tokyo Olympic Games. That's not
Yeah.
great. And I mean, a good thing for them is their current coach, Xu Jingxie. I hope I said that somewhat close. But she is China's their women's first female head coach. So that's at least a
Yes.
good thing for them. So that's good to see.
Sh- She was actually on that 1999 team as well.
Oh, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. So that makes sense then.
Right. So we're going to move on to Denmark. Denmark is making their fifth appearance. They made the quarterfinals in 91 and 95. They are ranked 13th in the world. They are 4-2 with losses to France and Spain. This is going to be all about Pernilla Harder. Like, can Pernilla Harder carry them? Pernilla Harder had not played most of the WSL season for Chelsea. I think that she might have been ill matched at Chelsea. Honestly, I don't think that
Mm.
her what she excels at is not what Emma Hayes wanted her to do, and so it was hard for her to get onto the pitch, even when she was healthy. But she was very significant for Chelsea. I do think that like in a lot of ways she helped carry Chelsea down the stretch. So I think her it's going to be all about her. Can she stay healthy? Can she score goals? And she get them to advance?
They have giant goalies. I've been looking
Yes.
at every single time we go through, and I've been looking at all the heights. And most of the
Mm-hmm.
goalies, the heights is like 5'8", and they have
Mm-hmm.
one goalie that's 5'10",
Mm-hmm.
one that's 5'11". and then
Hmm.
they have one that's 5'7". But overall, they're about the tallest team, even though the average height is 5'7". But
Right.
most of the teams are 5'3", 5'4", five foot
Hmm.
five. So that 2 inches we talk makes a big difference. Hell, but we talk about it even with City all the time. It's like uh, just the small difference in the height that we've gotten has made a
Right.
big difference. So
Hmm.
I could in the World Cup where I was finding out about Crystal Dunn and how tiny she actually is,
Yeah,
and
she's not a very large
and
person though.
that picture of I don't man I can't the Gotham
Lynn
strike,
Williams.
yes, of her
Lynn
holding
Williams.
her and she's just like
Hmm.
folded around her arm. It's like, oh yeah, no,
Hmm.
you can tell Crystal Dunn is just like this tiny little human from that photo.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Hmm. Oh goodness. All about Pernilla Harder. If she's not on, they're not going to advance, and that's about what I got for them.
Mm.
Um, she's got to carry them, and I don't know. We will see if she's able to do that. Moving on to England.
The
And
lionesses.
yes, I know that I hope that we have some people that are interested in that. They are making their 8th appearance in the Women's World Cup. Their best finish was third in 2015. They are currently fourth in the FIFA rankings, and they are 1-1 in 2023. They did win against Brazil in La Finalissima. However, that went to penalties. They lost at home to Australia, and they drew at home to Portugal. Injuries is the story of England. They are without the Euros 2022 Golden Boot winner Beth Mead. They are without their captain Leo Williamson in defense, and they are also out Fran Kirby, who is basically their playmaker. And like you see it when she plays for Chelsea, like just the way that she's able to create and dictate in midfield. Like most teams are not able to handle that. Um, However, I do still think that this is the most talented team in the group for sure. Also Millie Bright still hasn't played, but she since she was injured, and I believe that was in the April window. But she was selected. I'm not sure when they're going to necessarily use her. I'm not sure who they're going to play at center back. Um, but I think that they have the talent to advance from this group. I do like their midfield. Obviously, we've seen Kira Walsh play, we've seen Georgia Stanway play. I think that to me, Serena has already done a positional change. Like she's figured out that Rachel Daly is not a left back, and so now she has moved her to striker where she belongs.
Smart, smart, smart.
However, she might be blocking Alessia Russo's path, who might be the better player. Um, so that's interesting to play out, especially like seeing Ellen White's retirement, because Ellen White was the number one striker until she retired. Um, but I think Lauren James is probably poised for a breakout in this particular tournament. Like she's just a baller. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's not a lot that you can do with Lauren James, and I I think that Serena would be smart to play her in midfield as opposed to out on the wing and let her create um, in a different way than Fran Kirby did, and kind of let Georgia Stanway and Kira Walsh kind of do more of the dirty work. Um, I'm not sure that that's something that she's ready to do yet, but we shall see. But I think that Lauren James does need to play a big part in England's success in order for them to be successful.
Well, other than I guess I'm trying to think. Obviously, USA, I'm rooting for them the most. then it's like Bunny. It's the problem is there's so many more play city players on England that you would think I would root for them more, but I love me some Bunny. Y'all know I love me some Yui. So then it's England, and then it's the rest of the field.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put myself on record since we're about halfway through with this. I have them as I have England as my tournament winners.
Mm.
I think that I think that they're going to recapture that 2022 form, and they're heaven help them, heaven help whoever gets in their way. Honestly, I do. So yes, I do in fact think that it is coming home. I'm telling you guys that right now. Yeah.
Oh,
So that should make some people happy, I think.
are stress them out because
I
I have
mean
a bad
that
impression
they're
on
I
them.
mean
That's
there's
the English. They do love
they,
their whole
they do that
yeah.
they so the last team in this group is Haiti. They are World Cup debutants. They went through kind of a gauntlet to get there. They won in the Intercontinental Tournament. They did beat possibly the best goalkeeper in the world in Christian Inler of Chile to advance. And the goals that they got were really, really good. So they are ranked 53 in the world. They are 3-5. Um, Melchi Di Mornay is going to turn a whole bunch of heads in this particular. Like, there's going to be a lot of young players that like turn a bunch of heads. Like, oh, I didn't. I'm sorry, I was unaware of your game, young lady. Like, there's going to be a whole lot of that. And I think that Melchi Dumornay is one of them.
Mm.
Um, she gave um, teams fits in the CONCACAF W tournament, even including the U.S. She got some really good shot opportunities on frame. A lot of them went. I believe a couple of them hit the post. Um, but um, she is probably going to be their most exciting player. Shirley Judy, their captain. I believe she was injured in that match against Chile. She's coming back from injury. Um, I think that this team advances from this particular group. I actually have England and Haiti coming out of this group. I don't.
Oh.
I know that probably conventional wisdom tells us to pick Denmark, but I don't can't can't do it. I like Haiti's too much fun, and I want fun in this tournament. So I'm gonna
Yes.
go. So I'm gonna go England and Haiti.
I like that. And Melshi, the 19-year-old,
Yeah,
and Ali Wagner, she did top 25 players in the World Cup, and Melshi's 20.
I believe that, and I think that like it'll be interesting to have. It'd be interesting to see another player ranking after the World Cup because I think that
Mm,
there's going to be a lot of
definitely.
like, oh yeah, like this player was clearly like we were sleeping on them, and this like, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see those lists. Oh, we're gonna move on to a group that is near and dear to several people's hearts. In this particular, we have Group E, which includes the Netherlands, Portugal, the United States of America, and Vietnam. Starting off with the Netherlands. The Netherlands this is their third appearance in the Women's World Cup. They finished in second in the previous World Cup, but they did lose the final against the United States. They are ranked ninth in the world.
Mm.
They are 3-2. This team is gonna be missing Vivian Miedema, who is their leading scorer. Man, Arsenal women last year really was injury FC because like
Yeah,
they
it was bad.
like it was real bad. Um, and a lot of players like just go down. Um, so now I know it's going to kind of be up to Bierstein and Daniela Vandendonk to score their goals. So that'll be interesting to see. It's been interesting to see the Netherlands form as of late. I know that they've done or they've not necessarily played well against competition that you would think that they would play well with. Meaning like they lost to Germany 2-0. Um, but like all of the lower competition, they pretty much have handled like they were supposed to. Um, that kind of gives me pause, like that, like this is a team that like, oh, we're definitely a round of 16 team. You know what I mean? Like we're good enough to advance out of the group, and we might get lucky to get out of the the round of the first. Or no, we're just going to be in the round of 16. Like this, that's it. Like we're not going to like survive the knockouts at all. They don't. I don't know. They don't give me the best vibes necessarily. I'm not. They don't impress me much, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm
Okay,
not.
Shania Twain.
I know, right?
I'm just excited to see Jill Roord, however you say her last name.
Jill Royd,
Roord.
yes. Hmm.
Okay, yeah. I'm not too familiar with her, so I would like to. Can't wait to watch her play a little bit more, so I can hopefully see how she's gonna play. But also, it's Garrett Taylor, so we don't know where he'll play her. Sorry, we're not talking about him. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Oh God.
My bad. I'm carrying stuff on to this. There's no need for me to do
um.
that.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next country in this group, which is Portugal, who are making their debut in the World Cup. Um, they are ranked number 21 in FIFA's rankings. They are 2-1-2 in 2023. They did beat Cameroon in the Intercontinental Playoff to qualify, and then they beat England, or excuse me, drew England at England. Um, this team, and excuse my language, FanFest or whoever is offended by this, but this is the most try shit team that is in this tournament because this team is just gonna try shit. Like, um, you might see Jessica Silva try to hit a Rabona from 30 yards out just because, like, why not? Like, th- um, she and Kike Nazareth, they're gonna just try shit, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I think they might be the most fun team to watch of this tournament to me.
Mm.
Um, I just I like, and plus like all of their matches are always chaos. Like if and when they lose, like they lose chaotically, and I just have to appreciate that. So um yeah, I really like this team. And I think that they've been their arrow is headed in the right direction. I like this team. I think that they're fun to watch, and I think that this is a team that people should keep their eye out on. The third team in this group is the United States of America. They have been to all 9 Women's World Cups.
Yes,
Champions in 91, 99, 2015, and 2019. They are currently ranked 8th in the world. They are 8-0, wins over Brazil, Canada, excuse me, Japan, Ireland, Wales. I'm missing somebody.
Mhm.
I'm missing somebody, but I think it's I think it's Uzbekistan, so I don't want to like, but it might be. I don't know. Um, I know that this team is probably the betting favorites. This team, I know that this team probably could potentially have one of the most dangerous attacks if Vladko Andonovsky um, does the right tactical thing and not the right marketing thing. I'm not going to get it too much further into that. Like,
Okay.
if you know, you know. Um, I'll, let me put this into context for you, Crunk.
Okay.
You remember when Charlie like slipped up and called it the black line?
Yes.
It's same kind of deal.
Okay. 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 Mhm.
Um, Also, it will be interesting to see, like, since Julie Ertz is back with the team, it'll be interesting to see what role Lindsey Horan plays. Is she like is Are they going to allow her to float more and help create with Rose Lavelle, or is she going to kind of be more stationary on the left? I think that this team, it's all of their worries are not the attack, and they're I think they're also not the goalkeeper. I think it's the midfield and the back line. Obviously, the U.S. are going to miss Becky Sauerbrunn a lot. You're bringing a center back pairing that is very good and works very well together. They've been playing, or yeah, they work well together. That's the Stanford system, prepares them for all of that. However, this is the first time that they've competed in a World Cup. Um, Maybe it's time to run a double pivot, just kind of protect those players, make sure that you're um, not putting them out of place, particularly since the fullbacks that you have on the squad, Emily Fox, you're playing her on the wrong side. Sofia Huerta is more of an attacking option, and Crystal Dunn really only plays left back because the federation didn't really decide to look backfill the position, because she's actually a terrific midfielder and probably is going to be NWSL best 11 in midfield. So I think that there'll be some interesting decisions with that. I think, but I do think that this is probably the most talented team in this group, so I do have them winning. Um, Fortunately for their next opponent, they might be a little bit undermatched in Vietnam. Vietnam are debutants to this particular excuse me, tournament. They are ranked 32nd in the world. They did win the Southeast Asian Games in April. They are 7-3 in 2023.
Oh,
But they did lose all three of their tune-ups.
okay. They are also the smallest team, averaged at 5'2", which makes sense.
They are also they have no naturalized players on their squad, meaning that all of their players were actually born in Vietnam.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I oh gosh. Um, I just want this team to have a good time at the World Cup. They they obviously they won a regional tournament, had a good time, but I don't think that they'll. So obviously they haven't done very well against in their tune-up matches. I think they've gotten beaten pretty handily in them as well. Um, yeah, this I just want this team to have a good time.
Yes. 9-0 to Spain, two
Yes.
zero to Vietnam, and then 2-1 to Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that I know, having watched some highlights of the Germany match, I know that they were doing better in the second half against Germany. But I'm not sure if, and when we get to Germany, we'll get to their most important players, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure if their most important players were playing in that particular match at the time. So I don't necessarily see them advancing. I actually have U.S. winning this group and Portugal advancing. I think Portugal is going to do, because they are the try shit team. I think they're just gonna try shit against the Netherlands, and they're not going to be ready for it. It was like, whoa, whoa, what's happening? and like all of a sudden like it'll be 3-2 or like 4-2 Portugal in the 86th minute. So and they're like, I don't know what just, and the Netherlands will be like, I don't know what just happened,
Mm.
which probably might be one of the better things for the the Dutch Federation, for that to happen, uh, particularly after that crazy insensitive video that they posted to their social media. But we don't need to get into that.
No.
Huh. um, but we are going to move on to Group F and get into that because that is Group of Death number 2.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm just going to say that in this group is Brazil, France, Jamaica, and Panama. Also interesting to see two CONCACAF teams in one group. I don't know what the drawing was all about, but maybe fix that. Also, yeah, y'all, like my laptop is actually on my lap. I know that's terrible. Like my shit is moving, and you're like, what? This is terrible video. I don't know. We're gonna get into Brazil though. Brazil has made all 9 Women's World Cups. They finished in 3rd in 1999. That's their best ever finish. Their FIFA ranking is number 8. They are 3-3 headed into this tournament. Um, there are palpable win one for Marta vibes coming from. I would just say the Brazilian Federation, but like it truly looks like it is the entire nation of Brazil. I know that it was just announced earlier today that Brazil was going to like change the way that their work week operated, their work day operated based off of match times. So I guess if their match is at 7 in the morning local time, business starts at 11. If it's at 8, business starts at noon. um, so just like the palpable vibes from all of Brazil of win one for Marta is kind of like um overwhelming in some instances. And
Mm.
and what is interesting to me is that like after Brazil was eliminated from the 2019 World Cup, Marta gave a very impassioned speech to like um, in the mix zone, saying like there's not always going to be a Formiga, which is like Formiga's played in 8 women's World Cups. No one's ever touching that, like
Yeah,
men
that's
or
crazy.
women. Like
Yeah.
no one's touching that. It was like there's not always going to be a Formiga. There's not always going to be a Marta. Like some of you all need to step up, and I think that like you've is particularly if you follow NWSL, you've seen the influence of the Brazilian players on this league. Um, Debinha has been a terror in this league or in that league since she got to the league. Um, Ari Borges has been great. Adriana has been great. Um, Even Angelina just got called in. She's been great for Seattle Orwell Reign. It's just been interesting to see all of these players flourish. Um, I really do, and like take seriously Marta's speech. And I think that they are all on a mission to literally win this for Marta.
Mm.
Um, and it's crazy to see. And I was just sent a link of where I can buy both a Marta and a Dabinia jersey, and I am going to do that. As soon as my bank account tells me that I can. So let's keep it all of the way real.
Hey, that's what Shades of Blue we built our brand on.
That's right. We're going to move on to the next team in this group, which is France. France is making its 5th appearance in the Women's World Cup. Their best ever finish is 4th in 2011. They are currently ranked 5th in the nation, or excuse, 5th in the FIFA rankings. They are 5-1-1. They won the Tournoi de France in February, but they did lose their most recent match in a tune-up against Australia. And I do believe that Selma Bacha is not going to be available for the first, at least the first match, which is kind of a bummer, as she is a young baller. Um, so the biggest storyline for this France team is that Corinne Diacre is out. It took several players. I think it started with Marie Antoinette Katoto, uh, Ketetu Diani, and then finally, once Randy Reynard basically came out publicly saying that, like, yeah, and this was in March of this year, saying that we will no longer, we're not going to play for that lady, that
Mm.
crazy lady. Um, and I think that most of their complaints about her as a manager was that um, she didn't respond to the match. Like if something happened, like and there needed to be a change, she would not make that change. So it was like, oh, we're just going to do what we do, and that's what we're going to win. So they have brought in Herve Renard. Herve Renard, if you watch the Men's World Cup in Qatar, he was the coach of Saudi Arabia. So basically, he can claim that he was basically the only team that beat the World Cup winners. So that's kind of dope to say.
He made me
Um,
a chunk of money on that match.
oh, for real?
Yeah, 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 yeah. A little just thing that I do for every big tournament like that. I
Hmm.
just bet $5 on major underdogs, and if you just win one or two, you make your money back in folds. And
That's
I'm
true.
pretty sure I made like I think it was like almost $300 off of a $5 bet. It was something crazy.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild. So Herbert took over in March, and I think that like you've been able to see like the players kind of play with joy. It's been great to see a player like Eugenie Lasomere. I know who's their France's leading goal scorer being called back into the program. She had had a falling out with Diacre. It was wonderful to be able to think that Amadine Henri was also going to be available, as she had a falling out with Diacre as well. Was not being called in. She was called in, but she did suffer an injury before the tournament, and she is not going to be playing. And I am very, very sad for her. And this probably was her last chance.
Mm-hmm.
So and plus they do have some other injury concerns at some major positions. Uh, Marie Antoinette Katoto is not available as she's still working back from her knee injury. Um, Delphine Cascarino is also not available. Um, but I do think that they are a talented team, but it does just seem like they have a lot of question marks as far as like um, was the manager able to install his their game plan with 3 months of prep when we all know that sometimes World Cup prep can take the entire 4 year cycle, if not an 8 year cycle on top of that. So like it's very, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to get revved up to the thing he needs. This is probably a great warm up tournament for them for the Paris Olympics, which you know that they'll be keyed up to be very good at. Also, you have all these injuries. It's I'm not sure what's going to happen with France, but it's nice to see them being able to play with joy, play free. So yeah, it's just a great thing to see. Um, the next group, the next team in this group, excuse me, is Jamaica.
Reggae girls.
They are this is their second appearance second consecutive appearance, as a matter of fact, in the Women's World Cup. They are currently ranked um, 43rd in the FIFA rankings. Their 2023 record is 0-5-1. don't necessarily let that fool you. In April, in the April window, you'll remember that Bunny didn't play internationally. So she was not there. Most of their main. I don't believe that Drew Spence traveled. I don't believe that Rebecca Spencer traveled. So they basically, ran out a lower squad. I'm not sure that um, really counts. They really only played. Um, I think they played Morocco in a friendly recently and lost. Um, but this is really about Bunny Shaw
Mm.
um, basically leading the team. I think she needs to. I think that in order for Jamaica to advance, like she needs to be in the top two of combined goals and assists in the group stage. Like she needs to be setting up Shayna Matthews. She needs to be scoring goals that Drew Spence sets up. Um, I think it's just very important for them to score goals. I know Allison Swaby is literally a world class defender, but like that, and she might be their best defender. Um, but I think you need that pairing, and I'm not sure that and really I'm not sure that they have the defensive solidity across the board that you would like in a tournament like this. But I also think that they could they could possibly make some noise just because Bunny is so dominant.
And GQ gave them the best ranked kit in the Women's World Cup too.
I did see that, and I actually that's really interesting because I've seen lots of people disagree that they think that Jamaica should have came with more fire, which is really interesting to me.
They because Jamaica usually they tend to have a lot of fun with their kids,
Hmm.
and I do think that this is a little more, well, at least their home one is a little more relaxed. I like all like the coloring that they do in the collars and stuff on the away kit,
Hmm.
but yeah, I feel it's a little turned down. My favorite actually is Japan's. I love Japan's kit so much.
Japan's kits are so nice. They're
Oh.
so nice. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Somebody posted a Yui Hasegawa kit today,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my god, I need to have it. Uh, The last team in this group is Panama. Panama are debutants to this particular tournament. They are ranked 53rd in the world. They are 5-3-1 in 2023. However, their tune-up matches have not been too great. That Panama was the team that Japan kicked the crap out of.
Yeah.
So they do have Marta Cox is a baller, and Yeneth Bailey. So she in the 2018 CONCACAF W tournament, which was the qualifier for the at the time for the 2019 World Cup,
Mm.
she basically as a 16-year-old the manager put her in goal as they didn't have a goalkeeper, and she stood on her head and she led them all the way to the finals in a shootout that Jamaica did end up winning, and that is why Jamaica did advance to the World Cup in 2019. But she really did stand on her head, and she's basically, to me, she's been one of their best players
Mm.
since that moment. I think she's got to have a big tournament in order for Jamaica, or excuse me, for Panama to advance. Like she's got to be like her save percentage has to be crazy high in order
Mm.
for them to win, because they are going to concede a lot of shots and a lot of chances. This group is wild. It's really wide open. I am going to probably say something very controversial, but it is probably the most pro-black thing that I've said in this this here preview. I am saying that Brazil and Jamaica advance.
Hey, let's go.
Yes. I I think that I think people are underestimating the CONCACAF teams, just because um, they might not have had some of the greater results against the United States or against Canada, but I do think that they're just CONCACAF teams and CAF teams are better than you think that they are, and I think that there's going to be some results in this tournament that are going to be like, oh, you know that meme that like, woo, that bitch is shaking the table. That's literally what some of these results are going to be in this particular tournament. Again, I got Jamaica, Brazil advancing from Group F. Group G, we have Argentina, Italy, South Africa, and Sweden. We'll start with Argentina, who's making their fourth appearance in the Women's World Cup after appearance. Their best finish was the group stage. They are still looking for their first World Cup win. They are
Mhm.
ranked 28th in the world. Um, they are 5-1 in 2023. Their lone loss was against Venezuela on penalty kicks. I'm not. It wasn't. I can't tell that it was a competitive match though. So it's weird that it went to penalty kicks.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, this team's got to score a lot because their defense is bad.
Mhm.
The, if you look back to their 2022 results, they gave up a lot of goals, like a lot of goals, and they kind of like they are kind of third in the CONMEBOL pecking order, I guess, after Brazil and then after Colombia. So I don't they haven't played well, or they've kind of played some lesser competition in 2023 in hopes that like that would gear them up, like gear their confidence up. I'm not sure that that is necessarily going to work for them. Um, but if you know Estefania Benini and Mariana Larroquette are some very good attacking players, and they can score you goals and create chances. But it's for Argentina, it's going to be a matter of how many goals do they concede. That's going to be able to show that they can advance.
I remember when I was watching the World Cup build-up show, and they were breaking
Mhm.
down all the teams, and it was sort of heartbreaking because it got to Argentina, and the players were basically because they're talking about the keeper and how their keeper's
Mhm.
been there for I think 16 years, and
Mhm.
she's the eldest person on the team. And it's like, and she's like, I know Messi won and Argentina just won the World Cup, but we really tried to get people to understand that we're a different team. And basically, she was trying to say that people need to temper their expectations, and that always like breaks my heart they're because it's one they're saying don't expect much from us, but also two it's just like we know how crazy you guys get, so like
Yeah.
please don't bring that energy at us. So either way,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that like one of the things that does like I think give me hope about Argentina's program. Argentina did shut down their program in 2017 after their players went on strike, and then since that has occurred, they have qualified for every World Cup since. So that does give me hope that
Mm.
maybe like their arrow is definitely pointing up, and that maybe they can eventually get on a better level, at least like amongst the CONMEBOL hierarchy as it stands now, and really challenge Colombia for that second spot, possibly even make that Brazilian Argentinian rivalry that we all know is very strong, like make that an actual thing on the women's side as well.
Yeah.
In the next group, you got Italy. Italy is has been to the World Cup 4 times. They Their best finish is that they won in 1991. They're currently ranked 16th by FIFA. They drew Morocco 0-0, and they beat New Zealand in two tune-up matches. I First of all, it is anti-black that they did not bring Saragama to the World Cup. I know that Saragama is a little bit older, but like she's a legend in Italian football. It's crazy to me that she wasn't called up in knowing she was eligible. Um, this team is struggling to score, but I think that they're also struggling to find their identity. They do have a mix of like younger and older players. I think that they're going to try and see what works. They're probably just going to defend to death. Uh, and just try and hit you on the counter. They might they do have some pretty good attacking talent. Manuela Gigliano, I know that she I plays for Roma, who won the Serie A Femminile in Italy. Um, she like she was the best attacking midfielder in that league, and it wasn't particularly close. So if
Mm.
she can get that form going into for country that she did for club, um, Italy has a chance. Also, a quick little nugget that I thought was interesting. Julia Dragoni is only 16, and
Yeah, I
she's on
saw
the
that.
squad. She's signed to Barca,
Oh.
and she is going to La Masia Academy, and she is the first ever non-Spanish born woman to get into the academy.
Mm.
So, like, if Barca wants you, and like, I know that on the men's side we call Barca broke and everything, but like on the women's side they kind of enjoy a different luxury since they've won 2 out of the last 3 uh, Champions League trophies. So their name has a little bit of different cachet. And so if they want you at 16, you know that they're good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah. Their next country is South Africa, Banyana Banyana. This is their second appearance in the World Cup. They did not make it out of the group stage in their previous opponent. They have a 2-3-1 record. They did lose to Botswana 5-0.
Mm.
However, all of the players that were World Cup bound on that particular team refused to play because of the condition of the pitch. They said it was
Oh.
not a professional pitch, and it was not worth risking injury on that particularly on right before the World Cup. So, uh, and that's particularly pronounced since their captain Janine Van Wyck is actually um, out of this tournament with an injury. Also, I do feel bad for them. This is probably going to be her last World Cup too.
Mm.
Um, this team is going to counter you to death. Thembi Kgatlana, she uh, she's gonna hit those passes to you, and then she's gonna like get on the end of a few passes. She's gonna hit those passes that break like 2-3 lines. She's gonna get on at the end of a pass and dribble past you. Um, she's gonna make life uncomfortable for you, particularly when you give the ball up in the midfield. And I think that like somebody's gonna like get their feelings hurt playing against her. Um, I do. Um, I do wonder what uh, if they can, are going to be able to absorb all of the pressure that more attacking teams are going to throw at them. But I do think that they are set up to. I think that they can. They have a path to advancement, I guess I should say. The last team in this group is Sweden. They have been to all 9 World Cups. Their best finish was runners up in 2003. They are currently ranked number 3 in the world. Their form is 1-2-1. Um, they drew Germany in February and Norway in a cracker in April 3-3. Um, I believe that this is the oldest team in the tournament. Um, this might be a team that is holding on to their talent too long and is not bringing in fresher players. I think that the average age of this team is like 29 and a half. Um, Even if you think about players who you would think was like, oh, Stina Blackstenius, oh, she's 27. I believe that Felipe Angeldal is 26. So like they don't have Kosvor Aslani. I believe that she's in her 30s. They don't
She
have a
is.
lot of young. Yeah, they don't have a lot of younger players on the squad. So they're definitely going to be relying on that experience. That will be interesting in the knockout group. Actually, it'll just be interesting when they play South Africa because like um, a team like South Africa that wants to run against you. I'm not sure that like an older squad can handle that. That being stated, I still think that they are the most talented team in this group. I think that they win this group, and I think that South Africa also advances with them. Um, so yeah, like I think that that's going to be our CAF team in the knockout rounds. So we made it to our last group. We're almost there. We're almost finished.
Hey.
Hey, Group H has Colombia, Germany, Morocco, and South Korea. Um, Starting with Colombia, they are this making their third appearance in the Women's World Cup. They are ranked 25th in the world. Their best finish in a World Cup was they have not yet advanced past the group stage. They are 2-2-2, include and then
Oh,
two
yeah.
two two and withdrawal. Um, all that you need, the most important thing that you need to know about Colombia is Linda Caicedo is that girl. She is playing in her third World Cup in 2 years. She's 18 years old. She played in the U17 Women's World Cup. She played in the U20 Women's World Cup last year. And
Mm.
now she's playing in the Senior World Cup this year. She's like uh I believe that it was Tierna Davidson of the U.S. Women's National Team that she nutmegged. But she put her in a GIF. Like it's um, it, she's just a baller. Like she recently signed a contract with Real Madrid. I believe that that was the highest transfer fee that Real Madrid had ever paid for a women's player to get her services. So she is really good. She's really, really good, and I think that um, she she's good, and she knows that she's good, but she's also young enough to like not know any better. Um, so I think that like with the physicality, obviously we know that they play physically. If Ireland was concerned for the health of their bodies, um, and like if they let her play free, I think that um, they're going to have some fun playing in these 3 matches in the group. Also, I just have to say that because I do you have the nickname? Do you know their
Yes.
nickname?
Las
Yeah,
chicas poderosas.
and you know what that translates to?
The Powerpuff Girls.
I love that so
No, that's
much.
fantastic. That's
I love that
fantastic.
so much. Um, so now I think that oh yeah, when there's a Columbia match, we just need to tweet out like which Powerpuff Girl Linda Caicedo is in that particular
I
match.
can't wait to watch her and see. But I mean, with that energy and all
Yeah,
that gumption, I have no choice but to expect that she's more of a buttercup. Which one is that? Is that the green? What's the green one?
yeah.
Yeah,
Buttercup is the green one.
because you know,
Okay.
be like young. I feel like you gotta have that little that friction in you. You want that smoke to be young and taking people on like that.
Yes, I like that. Um, the next team in this group is Germany. They have made all 9 Women's World Cups. Their best finishes, they were the winners in 2003 and 2007. They are ranked number 2 in the world. They are 2-2-2, um, with a win over Vietnam and a loss to Zambia in the tune-ups. This might this might be the deepest team in this tournament. They also might have the best player that's not going to score goals in this tournament.
Mm,
I mean, she might. She has scored some bangers for Wolfsburg, but to me, there is not a better defensive midfielder in the entire world than Lena Oberdorf. She changes the way that teams can play. Um, in the when the U.S. played Germany in their friendly, the way that the U.S.'s midfield flowed when Oberdorf was in the match versus how it flowed after she was taken out of the match for injury is night and day, just night and day. Like not only like she's that one of those rare sixes is like not only is she a destroyer, but she's also a metronome, if that
mm,
makes sense.
yeah.
Like like imagine like peak Rodri and peak uh I don't know, Calvin Phillips almost like with like if you combine those two players into one, like and Calvin Phillips was an even better destroyer, like she's that good.
Mm,
Um but also I think that is she might be their most valuable player. Their most important player is Alexandra Pop. She has definitely had injury woes over her career with country. She unfortunately had to sit out the final of the 2022 Euros. We don't know how differently that would play out if she was, if she would have been able to play. Um, she was, I believe, injured for the previous World Cup. So yes, this is her first World Cup, and Germany does play a different way when she's not in the match. But she's such a physical presence and a focal point, and she's very good technically on the ball. She like she and Bunny Shaw do a lot of similar things.
mm.
If like so as a reference point, so it'll be interesting to see the two of them, or excuse me, it'll be interesting to see if the two of them are healthy enough to play their most important matches. Because if those two are not available, like in if and when Germany gets to the uh, quarterfinals, the semifinals, or the finals, if they're not available, it's not a good scene for them. Um, they could probably still advance, but like some of the better teams in the knockout rounds are gonna get to them. So that shall be interesting. Um, the next country in this group is Morocco. They are also debutants to this tournament. They are ranked 72 in the world. They are 2-3-2, with draws against Italy and Switzerland and a loss to Jamaica in their tune-up matches. Um, this might be one of the most defensively stout teams in the
Mm.
tournament. Them and Canada both. They don't allow goals. Like they're not going to allow you chances. They're not
I'm
going to
seeing
allow
a
you
lot of
shots.
0-0 draws or
Yes,
1-0 losses.
yes, that is exactly how they're going to play you. Like it's like you are going to get one chance, and you better make it count against them. So it'll be interesting in this group to see if they can shut down all of the teams in this group. And I, they're on a good defensive form. They just, again, they need to be able to score goals. So um, that'll be difficult. That might be difficult for them. But they also brought 11 attackers. So who knows? I don't like. It's just very, very interesting.
It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Also of note, Nuhalia Benzina becomes the first ever hijabi player at the Women's World Cup,
Mm.
meaning that she is going to compete with her hijab on, which is awesome. Um, I like, and we've the official Women's World Cup sanctioned by FIFA has been going on since 1991. That's 32 years, and like the fact that we have athletes in that feel comfortable enough to like express themselves in that manner, I think that's fantastic, and we
Facts.
need more of that. So
Yes.
that is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The last team in this group is South Korea. This is their fourth appearance in the Women's World Cup. Their best finish was the round of 16 in 2015. They are ranked 17th in the world. They are 3-0. They have only played 3 matches in 2023. Their most recent match they did win against Haiti. This team does not want the ball. Like, I think this is going to be really. It's going to this whatever the Morocco South Korea match is going to be super interesting. They super don't want the ball. Like, not at all. Like, and they don't want the because they just want to hit you on the counter. They want to be, but they also want to be physical with you when they defend. So it'll be really interesting to see how far like that. So I'm calling it now. Morocco, South Korea, sickos match of this tournament. If you're a sicko, you will watch this match, and there will be some sicko stuff that goes down in this match. And South Korea also has the youngest player, Casey Fair, in this tournament at 16. She is actually U.S. born, and she is the first Korean player of mixed heritage to be selected to Korea's national team. Which I think that's kind of like, it seems like we're having a lot of firsts in this tournament, whether it be for the nation or for the tournament itself, which excited about that. So let's see. Just to recap all of our groups and advancing. I think I said in Group A, we got Norway and Switzerland. Group B, we have Australia and Canada. Group C, we have Spain and Zambia. Group D, we have England and Haiti. Group E, we've got Portugal and the United States. Group F, Brazil and Jamaica. Group G, South Africa and Sweden. Group H, Germany, and I didn't give a second place team. I'm gonna go Germany and Colombia. Linda Caicedo is that good.
Colombia. I took notes. So if you're right, I can be like,
Right.
you're a bloody genius, Tom Bomb. And if you're not right, then we'll just ignore it and act like it never happened.
I love it. Sounds great. Well, everyone, we really want to thank y'all for joining us for All In. We have got some content coming about this tournament. You're gonna try and hear us after every match day, after every round. We're gonna be chopping it up about these crazy wild matches because you know that it's going to happen. And again, calling it Sicko's match, South Korea, Morocco.
And I think we're gonna be possibly doing some live watch-alongs over
Yep,
here with us. I think we'll be teaming up with potentially some friends of ours and doing some live watch-alongs with them. So Shady Gang, just pay attention because we're gonna be having some fun.
it's coming, baby. Like we are literally all in on this, and I can't wait. All
It's
right,
gonna be a great time.
I got to sign off because I got to take my little nap before this match
Good
starts.
luck. I know you got like 73 minutes.
Perfect.
Enjoy it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming through. We love y'all. Let's do this footy.
Hey, bye.